The old man asks, "You look quite young. Will you be all right?" This time, the expedition is on a large scale, and the difficulty is also high, so I cannot guarantee your safety. Irene replied, "Thank you for your concern, but I will be fine." The old man looks at Irene in his mind. He has honest eyes. The atmosphere around him is warm but sturdy. I thought he was a child that didn't know anything about the world, but looking at him closely, I was wrong. The old man told Irene, "If you really want to go, head to Calvin. The attack force there is lacking, so they are recruiting mercenaries." Irene thanks the old man for the information he gives. A few days later in the city-state of Calvin, Ruru bids his goodbye to Johnson and Irene thanks him for his service. Johnson said, "Then I will get going now. Have a safe trip." Johnson looks at Irene and his crew and he suddenly comes into a realization. In his mind, I had a realization. There are a lot of powerful people who have yet to make themselves known. If I act up, I might end up dying from a single attack. I should be kind from now on. On the other hand, the vice commander of the Calvin Knights, Amira Shelton, was cursing and scratching her head from stress. She said, "Damn it, those Palanque and Labat bastards. To be exact, that dungeon was discovered on our territory. They are really determined since they are sending their best attack force. Labat's court mage, Perry Martins, Palanque's swordmaster, Sevian Virox, and on top of that, the Holy Kingdom is involved too. At this rate, all the loot from the dungeon will be taken by them. I need to recruit a good mercenary that is able to go head-to-head with them." The Knights of the Calvin Kingdom appeared and reported to their vice commander that the mercenaries who had applied for the expedition had arrived. She asks, "How are they? Any skilled ones?" But the knight was speechless and was shivering. Amira Shelton told them that it was fine and she would go personally to see them herself. She approached both Ilia and Irene, who just recently finished one sparring match. She shouted, "Hey, are you the mercenaries who applied for the expedition? I am Calvin's vice commander, Amira Shelton. I am going to test you right now." Ilia tries to introduce herself, but Amira stops her and she says, "Forget about the introductions. Don't waste time and show me your abilities." Ilia told her that she understood what she is trying to say. Then after she exhaled, a sudden burst in aura was released by Ilia that created a crack on the ground. And an explosion with a fast speed was seen by Amira, who was alarmed at the frightening battle speed of Ilia. Amira releases a frontal slash but is evaded, and Ilia blinks at the back of Amira, which made her alarm. Amira twists her body to turn and attack Ilia at the back, but she misses and suddenly Ilia disappears. She was cursing because she couldn't keep up with Ilia no matter what she does. Ilia suddenly pops up at her back. She was thinking that she can now capture Ilia, but Ilia suddenly disappears once again. The next thing that happens is Ilia appears in front of her and slashes her sword, and at that moment her sword is thrown away to the ground. Amira was amazed by that battle. She asks, "You, what is your name? Which kingdom are you from?" Ilia replied, "I am a Lindsay family knight from the Aiden Kingdom." Ilia Lindsay. That night after the battle audition, Amira Shelton was so happy that she was like on a cloud nine, continuously laughing. She said, "The skies are helping me. To think Ilia Lindsay is joining my side." And on top of that, she was also shocked to know that Ilia's comrade at that time was Irene, who introduced himself, the Irene Pereira who became a swordmaster after defeating Ilia Lindsay. In her mind, if they both join the Calvin Kingdom as a mercenary, then we won't be lacking compared to other nations. But to think that Ilia Lindsay would join the dungeon expedition. Is it because of Ignet Crescentia? If she came here due to personal feelings, then she might negatively affect the expedition party. I need to observe Ilia Lindsay's behavior closely. Amira stops what she is doing and takes a sigh. She said, "Anyways, since I have settled the urgent matters, let's rest a little." But little did she know that Ruru was in there peeking at what she was doing. Ruru said, "Amira, what is that? Teach me too." Hearing that made Amira shout from fear that someone suddenly said something. She picks up her glasses. She said, "Aren't you Irene Pereira's cat? You are talking?" Ruru introduced herself. Since Amira is a person who really loves cats, she asks Ruru if she can pet her. Ruru replied, "Yeah, pet me away. But you need to teach me." Ruru said, "I like Amira because you look like one of my friends." Amira asks Ruru if she looks a lot like them. Ruru replied, "Not a lot, just a little. You look similar when you are angry. But before that, hurry up and teach me what you are doing right now." Amira said, "But since you are a cat, wouldn't it be difficult even if I teach you? Wouldn't it be hard with your paws?" Ruru told her that was not a problem. Then her body shines so bright and she transforms into his human form. She asks Amira, "These hands are okay, right?" Amira was amazed in her mind. "No way. I can feel it even though I am not a mage. Incredible magic power." Amira said, "Okay, I will teach you. But this hobby is a secret. I need to show others that I am strong and a cool vice commander." Ruru replied, "Don't worry. I am good at keeping secrets." A few days later in the Labat territory, Amira said, "There is still time before the expedition starts, so please freely enjoy your time here. There will be a banquet tomorrow night with all the members of the expedition party, so don't forget and make sure you come." Irene replied that he understood. While patting Ruru, Amira also told her that she needed to come too. She said, "Could you perhaps come in your other form? I will prepare a dress too." Ruru replied, "My other form? Okay." Amira told them that she would see them at the banquet. The night after that, Irene was outside sitting while meditating. In his mind, my combative spirit was what controlled the fire within me up until now. A combative spirit that is very similar to the anger I feel because of my jealousy towards Ignet. A combative spirit to overcome the will of the man in my dreams, Karen, but I no longer want to control the fire inside my heart with a combative spirit. Let's think about my last realization from my previous life. The will that started from regret and sorrow. My good will that is directed toward the world. I am going to move forward in my own way. After his meditation, Irene said, "How long do you plan on watching me?" The man was alarmed after Irene noticed him. He asked, "Did you know? When did you realize it?" Irene told him that it had been 20 minutes since he noticed him. The man said, "You have good senses. I was trying my best to conceal my presence too. Are you a swordsman or a mage?" Irene told him that he was a swordsman. The man said, "I don't recognize you. What country are you affiliated with?" Aaron replied, "I am a mercenary that is affiliated with Calvin." The man replied, "Calvin, huh? Okay, I will be going now. Sorry that I bothered you." Then the man walks away from Irene. While walking away, he looks back at Irene. In his mind, to think his senses are sharp enough to notice my presence even in his deep meditation. He is not your average boy. I need to win him over to our side during the dungeon expedition. When this guy walks back to the inn, the knights greeted him as Sir Virox. This guy was actually Palank's best knight, Swordmaster Sir Virox. He told his man, "There is something I need you to do. Look into the personnel of Calvin's expedition party right now and then report back to me." After that, one of his men gives him the list of personnel for Calvin's dungeon expedition. Sir Virox praises the man for his good work. While watching the papers, there is someone that caught his interest. He said, "Oh, Ilia Lindsay? Who would have thought that I would see her name here?" There is only one reason that the daughter of the Lindsay family would participate in a dungeon expedition. It was Ignet Crescentia. Even though she is a swordmaster, it seems that she is still a child. She is acting on her emotions. Did her loss at the Land of Proof affect her heart? No, wait! If it is the Land of Proof, the champion who defeated Ilia Lindsay was one of her peers at the Swordsmanship Academy. I had heard the two of them left to travel together. Yeah, I know he was an unusual guy. So it is you, the blonde-haired holy swordsman, Irene Pereira. This dungeon expedition is going to be very interesting. The next day in the banquet hall, the commander of the Calvin Knights, Gregory Griffin, asks Amira if 2 swordsmasters joined their army. Amira replied, "Yes, you can look forward to meeting them." Sir Gregory asks, "Anyway, what happened to the Holy Kingdom?" Amira told him that they had not arrived at the banquet hall yet. Amira said, "The fact that they aren't going to make an appearance at the banquet where all the kingdoms gathered together for the first time means that they intend to show off their power." Sir Gregory laughed and replied, "Amira, don't think too much about it." Then the court mage of Labat, Perry Martins, approaches them. He said, "Sir Gregory, it has been a while. Have you been well?" Then Perry Martins' body lightens up, signs that he is exuding magical power. He said, "I heard some rumors that you were in a hurry to get support and ended up hiring some mercenaries." Sir Gregory also exudes aura in his body and replies, "Don't worry, they won't hinder the expedition party." Then Sir Virox appeared and he said, "Perry, that's enough. This is a place where we have come together to be in harmony." Perry replied, pretending to be kind. "What are you scheming again?" Then Ilia and Irene appeared, and of course the cute little Ruru, who was in dress and in bouncy sandals that were prepared by Amira. Sir Gregory asks, "Oh, Amira, is that them? The mercenaries who are joining us?" While Ruru was passing by Perry, he felt an intense magical power that made him shocked. In his mind, huh? That is some incredible magical power. It is a huge amount of magical energy that is similar to a grand mage. Plus, the horns and wings. That girl, who is she? Amira was happy because of the reaction of Perry in her mind. As expected, they are focused on Ruru. How is that? You cannot ignore Calvin's attack force now, huh? But as they continue to walk at the banquet, Irene hears some murmuring about Ilia. One man said, "Hey, it is her, right? I am certain it is Ilia Lindsay." One man replied, "Wow, amazing. Did she come here because of Ignet? Does she plan to avenge her brother? Is she that obsessed?" Irene looks at Ilia and wonders if his friend is okay because she was silent the whole time. Then Ilia said, "Fact this again." Both Irene and Ruru were shocked to hear Ilia swore for the first time. Ilia shouted, "Seriously, they don't leave you alone. So freaking annoying." Fact it. Everyone was shocked to hear that, including Irene, who was speechless looking at her. But before that, Judith told Ilia that she was really frustrated. Ilia asked her, what does she meant? Judith looked at her, she said, "Why live bothered by that? Just ignore their cynical remarks, since they will react the same way no matter what you do." Judith smiled and said, "There is no need to impress them. Just swear at them instead. Here, repeat what I say." Judith teaches her the glaring posts and teaches Ilia the F word. Judith said, "Hurry, you will feel better. This is a lot better than keeping everything to yourself." But Ilia remains silent. Ilia slowly says the F word at a low volume, but Judith tells her to go louder, which Ilia followed, and they repeat it again and again. Ilia smiled and said, "It is not as bad as I thought. Why are you just standing there? Let's go and sit down." Irene and Ruru could only follow what Ilia said and was still shocked of her sudden change of behavior. Sir Gregory laughed and said, "What a vigor." Then the MC announced something in the banquet hall. He said, "Now, the commander of the Calvin Knights will give his greetings." Sir Gregory said at the banquet, "Thank you to all of you who are here. From tonight's gathering, let us make this a successful dungeon expedition." But while Sir Gregory was saying his greeting, a sudden vibration of the land happened that made everyone shocked, including Ruru, who noticed it. Then a sudden portal appeared in the middle of the banquet that made everyone alarmed. Then the first ones that go out in the portal are Anya, Sir George, and the rest of the men in armor suit. Amira was also shocked at the sudden appearance of these people. In his mind, that armor, Avelius, the Holy Kingdom's Black Knights. Ilia's eyes started to widen when she saw a silhouette of a woman who was walking out from the portal. Then her expression starts to darken to see the woman who she hates the most and makes his brother suffer. It was Ignet Crescentia. George scolded Anya. He said, "You should have created the portal outside the hall, not inside it. You were trying not to waste your mystic powers, weren't you?" Anya replied, "It was a mistake. I was going to make it outside." Ignet approaches Sir Gregory. She says, "The respectable commander of the Calvin Knights, Sir Gregory Griffin. Due to my subordinate's mistake, we have disrespected you. I sincerely apologize for offending you." Sir Gregory said, "Please don't worry. I didn't mind it since I saw a rare spectacle." Ignet told Sir Gregory, "Although it may be rude, the whole order is exhausted as we came here as soon as our previous mission had been completed. If it is all right with you, may we head into our room and rest first?" Sir Gregory replied, "I didn't know you had a previous mission. I will send someone to guide you to your quarters." But there was someone that caught Ignet's attention, so she excused herself for a second. Amira thinks that it smells like trouble since she is going in the direction where Ilia is sitting. Everyone was shocked to know who the person she approached to, including Ilia and the other important guests. She was actually trying to greet Irene. Ignet said, "You have changed in the time I haven't seen you." Irene Pereira.